You voted for the wrong guy. A special message for a critical election day. It's a catch-22. For the world to get better, you need to elect candidates that put the needs of the people above their own. But any candidate you vote for has no incentive to do that. If you don't believe me, just look at the increase in net worth for congressional candidates during and after their tenure as, quote, public servants. The bottom line, human beings are corruptible. What starts as a basic need for the fundamental elements required for life can all too easily turn to avarice, an insatiable greed for more. For most of us, protection from this most fatal of human flaws comes in the form of scarcity. You do not have access to those vast sums of wealth and power, so it becomes a self-regulating system. You cannot abuse what you don't have. Government is different. Government is designed to pool wealth, privilege, and power into one place, so it becomes attractive, low-hanging fruit for human avarice. It also metastasizes. Just like a parasite, it grows by feeding on the wealth and resources that it collects from the people it is supposed to represent, ever growing in size and appetite. It has a symbiotic relationship with human avarice, giving the illusion of power and control while ensuring it gets what it wants. More. It has become the One Ring, a power too great for anyone to wield. This period of time represents a major crossroads for the human journey and experience. Those who do not share your best interests have an agenda, and that agenda does not include more freedom and abundance for you. You have been deceived into believing that giving more power to these people will result in better lives for everyone else, but this is observably false. To my dismay, I had a recent conversation with an individual who was discussing their vote for a gubernatorial candidate in a northern state. This person told me that the opponent to the incumbent candidate was a terrible person who would persecute women and financially destroy the education system of that state. I asked this person why they believed that this would be the case. Back to lesson 1. What was the datum and criteria from which to measure these statements? Have student test scores and IQs increased with the tax increases from the incumbent? What has a greater impact on you and other constituents? A feared loss of future rights, which is only hypothesized, or the reality of $5 bread? What good is more money to an education system when there are no jobs available to pay for the increased cost of living? Now it seems we are back to lesson 2. Those who do not share your best interests are manipulating your feelings, but you need to think. Forget the propaganda and hearsay from those who are controlled by avarice. Let's make it simple and objectively measurable with the data. What was the education budget in your state 5 years ago? What was it last year? What was the average SAT score in your state 5 years ago? What was it last year? How much state income and property tax did you pay 5 years ago? What did you pay last year? What was the unemployment rate 5 years ago? What was it last year? What was your dollar worth 5 years ago? What was it worth last year? What was your governor's net worth when they took office? What is it today? What would their net worth be if it were tied to their performance using these measures? How did your candidate perform when measured against unbiased criteria? Would you vote for them now? Would you keep your job with a similar performance of your duties? Of course, those seeking power will always have excuses for their failures. There were unforeseen forces that prevented their success, or the opposing party simply blocked all of their efforts with political posturing. We all know the old saying about excuses. But the fact is, as a leader, you must perform in all circumstances, not just the easy ones, and you must accept accountability for your failures. The higher the level of government, the more the problem grows exponentially. Budgets get more inflated and more difficult to audit. Take a look at how long some of these leaders have maintained their positions. Apply a datum and criteria similar to that used for the state and measure their performance. The results will not be pretty. Why would you keep participating in a rigged game? It is philosophically debatable whether or not humans will always need structured government, but in this current time it is intrinsic to the system. Voting is not futile, but voting for something that will not result in change serves no purpose. If you want to fix the system, you must establish the criteria for success. A better life for you will not come as a result of increased taxes or elite authority. Giving humans money and power does not result in more empathy or understanding. Bring your leadership back to the local level where it directly affects you. where it can be more easily monitored, where you can more readily hold leaders accountable for their failures. In this election, you will be given the illusion of choice. You will be told that your freedom depends on it. The soap opera of political party thesis and antithesis is resulting in a synthesis. That synthesis being the satisfaction of the avarice of those who do not share your best interests. The only winning move is not to play. It is time to wake up.